What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And that's what you're watching or listening to right now. This is the power of the internet. And if you guys are unfamiliar, this used to be a podcast where I only filmed 3 episodes, where I set my friends down and I interviewed them and I talked about how they became famous on the internet, what it was like to become famous, and that sort of thing. I actually really enjoyed doing it, but after 3 episodes, I realized there was a bit of a glaring problem, and I put the entire thing on hiatus, especially because I lost my editor who was helping me make that series so good. But earlier this week, I was looking at my YouTube stats, and I realized my rambling video that I made at the beginning of the month was doing better than the majority of the other videos that I made. And I realized you guys would prefer to just sit down with me and talk about stuff. Sure, about myself and my life a little bit, but also what's going on the internet and what's going on in the world. And I thought, why not bring the power of the internet back and have it just be a sit-down conversation between me and you? And maybe, who knows, looking forward, we'll definitely have guests on here if people want to show up. Though I often worry because I know when somebody works with me, they can get a lot of harassment, a lot of negativity towards them. We just saw that recently with Caleb the Hammer. We see it on the Lolcow podcast, which I'm part of now. Even the guests that were on the first 3 episodes of Power of the Internet received a certain amount of negativity. So it takes a pretty brave person to come onto this channel and deal with the dedicated lunatics that have decided I'm like their side project or hobby. So in the meantime, I thought, let's make some long-form content. Let's set and let's just talk about life, the universe, things that are around me that are particularly interesting to me. Hopefully a long-form video that you can put on in the background while you're playing video games, while you're going out for a walk, while you're just doing the chores around the house. Something for you to listen to and enjoy. And I really think I'm going to enjoy making this. So I've got another project I've got going on. It's called the Lolcow podcast. I'm on there with, there's so many people involved. It's the drama community. Not everybody's going to like this thing, and I respect and get that. And I'll talk about why, right? It's made for a very like niche audience, in my opinion, right? But to begin with, I'm on there with 2 people. Tommy C, who I didn't really know before the show, but I've learned to like quite a bit working with him. Then Jordan, Wings of Redemption, another fellow old school YouTuber. And he's also the guy that I boxed back earlier in the year, 2023. So he beat the hell out of me. But during that period of time, I learned to respect the guy quite a bit. And I wanted to have a project with him. I wanted to work with him very badly. I was very excited to do that. So another YouTuber, Keemstar of Drama Alert, had this idea for a podcast for both of us. And that's the Lolcow podcast, right? Say what you will about Keemstar. He's entertaining. I mean, that's, is he a trash human? Sure. He can definitely be a trash human. Of course, I can be a trash human. Jordy can be a trash human. You probably, listening, can probably be a trash human as well, right? That said, though, Keemstar has this idea to put this project together, and we needed a producer. We needed somebody to back it. And some of the most bizarre people decided to back this thing. Nicholas Diorio, who I wasn't overly familiar with, but then you got Turkey Tom, who's been very critical of me in the past, right? You have Mudahar, Some Ordinary Gamers, who's been very critical of me in the past. And they wanted to help this project out. When your worst enemies circle and decide they want to help you out, I think, some people are going to say, I don't trust people, I don't like people, I don't want to be involved with that kind of thing. Man, I'm a trusting person. And I need the opportunity. I wanted the opportunity. I got bills to pay, man. I got medical insurance to pay for. I got medications to pay for. I got treatments to pay for with this polycythemia stuff. So I got stuff to work on. And it costs money. And this is starting to bring in money. It's kind of great. People are really enjoying the show. Now, of course, it is a drama-based show, which has meant I've had to move the drama from this YouTube channel over to the Lolcow podcast. And that has been a godsend. It's been wonderful. Now, there's a lot of people, I think, who don't understand part of what I do on YouTube. And I very rarely pull the veil down as much as I'm going to today. But if you listen this far into this episode, you probably are a big fan, right? And so I think it's okay to talk to you about what I'm about to say. I'm kind of a dummy. And I say and do outlandish things. And I've learned to accept and understand that about myself, though I try to get better. But years ago, when Reddit and 4chan and all these other places decided I was like some evil, manipulative mastermind, whatever, I decided to lean into it, embrace it, right? Make it part of the videos, make it part of the script, make it part of my Twitter feed. It also helps that I accidentally do that stuff all the time. You know, my brain no worky so good. I'm not that smart. And I do get involved in a lot of drama. I make some bad life decisions. I think we could all agree. So why not capitalize on that, right? That was my thought process back in 2018. If the internet's going to learn to hate me anyway, let's just turn heel. I grew up watching WWE, WWF at the time, right? I understood turning heel. I understood that Hulk Hogan did it. Andre the Giant did it. Ultimate Warrior did it. Ultimate Warrior really, really did it, but whatever. He turned out to be a real heel in real life, but whatever. Why not do it, right? And who knows? Maybe the Mr. Rogers of YouTube could become the Bob Saget of YouTube. Maybe there's this life after the death of the Mr. Rogers aspect of me, which is who I am in real life, for the record. I think a lot of people understand that and know that. I do have an anger issue. This is real. The Francis stuff is for real. I had to take care of that years and years and years and years ago. Tons of therapy to learn to shut that anger side of me down. It's still under there, but I manage it. The Francis stuff is based in that reality. So getting a chance to get on this show and scream at Keemstar, scream at Jordy, scream at a guest, act a fool, get on my hands and knees and crawl and beg to manufacture drama, say outlandish things about my relationship, my girlfriend, and stuff like that. I mean, that is, it's a dream come true. And to get paid to do it and to keep it off of my main YouTube channel, it's everything I could want. And to make money doing it. Wow. It allows me to make videos like this for you, which we don't have to manufacture drama. We don't have to pump anything up. We don't have to pretend to be the bad guy. I could just be Boogie. I could just be myself. Talk about video games. Talk about life. And I don't know. I like being kind of mean on the podcast. It's fun. I had a therapy session a long time ago. See if you can relate to this. But in this therapy session, my therapist was talking to me about, I don't remember how he brought this up, but he said, or maybe it was a she. It's been a while. But tell me how you treat your friends and family. And I said, well, they see me at my best, but also sometimes at my worst. When I'm at my most sad or my most depressed, my self-destructive, my most self-destructive, they see that. And he's like, okay, well, what about a stranger? Tell me how you treat a stranger. And I said, well, I just try to treat them with as much, I try not to involve in my business. They're strangers. I'm worried about what they think. And, I try to avoid making a scene in public and that kind of thing, or, put on a smiling face for strangers. And they said, you're kind of doing it the exact opposite of how you're supposed to do it. And I was like, what? I'm like, yeah. Your friends and family, obviously lean on them when you need to. When you need to talk, you should talk. When you need help, you should ask for help. But on a day-to-day basis, why not give them your best? Right? Your loved ones, your friends, your family, the people that enjoy being around you. Give them as much of your best as that you can. As for a stranger, screw a stranger. Who cares? They see you cry in public? Who cares? They see you lose your temper in public? Who cares? It's a stranger. They don't count on you. They don't hang out with you. They're not part of your life. They're not supporting you, and you're not supporting them. Who cares what a stranger thinks, man? That was really eye-opening. I've been trying to apply that to my daily life for quite some time. And this podcast, I think, is letting me do that. I can be a jerk as much as I want to online. For my friends and family, I can just be Good old Steve. Good old Boogie. Because I'm a bit of an introvert. I don't think people know that. I'm a bit of a goofy introvert. It's difficult for me to talk to people sometimes. It's difficult for me to be out in public sometimes, unless I'm masking, unless I put it on, unless I just, put on the big smiling face. Fairly quiet. My girlfriend's brought out, a goofier side of me, which has been amazing because she's just as goofy. It's nice to be goofy Steve as well. But I've always been a guy who could just comfortably sit in silence next to somebody and actually preferred to do that. That's not what the entertainer side of me wants to do. Entertainer side of me wants to be entertaining. So cameras are on. Goofy, weird, dramatic, bizarre, angry, whatever it is, whatever it takes to be entertaining. And I will say, I do kind of hate the corner I'm painted myself into throughout the years. So much of the internet has fallen for the character. I did this Caleb Hammer thing, talked about it several times today. And one of the first things Caleb said to me is, I thought you bought a Tesla. I was a bit, man. I did put a down payment on it. I was seriously considering buying it. But by the time I got home, I knew I was never getting that car. It's a huge waste of money. But I played the bit, played the character. Internet was mad about it. Front page of Reddit. Lean into it. It was probably really stupid of me. It was really stupid of me to put a down payment on the luxury car. I couldn't afford it. Stupid thing to do. What a huge waste of money, But I think, honestly, and if you own a Tesla out there, I apologize. But I think a Tesla is one of the worst investments you can make. I actually got a hybrid, Toyota Corolla hybrid. And one of the best investments I could make, 550 miles to the gallon. You don't have to sit at a stupid charging station and charge all day and deal with this bullshit and walk into a mall and stay overnight at certain hotels, go to certain places because they have the power chargers. You just drive your car wherever you want to drive it, however you want to drive it. You can use it at every gas station in the world. And here's the other crazy thing. When you damage a Tesla or it needs repairs, it's a luxury car, so they charge you luxury prices to work on it. Yeah. One of my friends had one, they bent the fender. The fender on that thing was 10 times more expensive to replace than it would have been on my Corolla or any other car. They take advantage of these people who own that car. I don't know. I just don't think the technology is great. I just don't think it's a very convenient car, and it's an expensive car. So I'm not a huge fan of it, and I'm glad I'd never bought one, but whatever. At the end of the day, I like this. I like the actual misfit that I am. I like Angry Steve. I like Stupid Steve. I like Goofy Steve. I like Dramatic Steve. I think he's a good guy. I spent my whole life with him, so maybe I'm biased, but I like that he has a place to exist. But for the people who are watching this, people listening to this, I bet you're glad he doesn't have to exist here anymore. And I really am too. I don't know why I made my YouTube channel about that, but I wish I hadn't. But the best time to have fixed it would have been then. The second best time to fix it is now. And that's what the podcast is allowing me to do. And for those people who are obsessed with Angry Steve, Crazy Steve, Stupid Steve, Goofy Steve, they can watch that. And they are. We're getting views like, ooh. Good numbers. Good numbers. 100,000 per episode. Tons of listeners. Sponsors. Chef's kiss. Keemstar, say what you will about him. Is he a monster? Yeah, probably. Say what you will about Jordy. Is he a loser? Yeah, probably. Am I a loser? Yeah, probably. But, God damn it, we're entertaining. And I love being an entertainer. Let that inner Andy Kaufman fly. I wanted to start off by talking about Pokemon Go. And I know I made a video about this, but I just recently got back into this game. And like the world, I tried this in the first month that it came out. I still have some powerful Pokemon from, the month this came out. I have a Snorlax named Francis that came out. I think I caught him on 7/13/2016. I came back and I played the game a little while in 2018 as an excuse to get up and out of the house. You guys remember I was transitioning from walker and wheelchair to actually being able to walk again. And I thought Pokemon Go was a great way to do that, Then, during the pandemic, I played a little bit. 2021, when everybody started getting back out into the world, I started playing it then. Have some Pokemon from that series. And then recently, I had to go to Cincinnati, Ohio. Mike Klum shot a documentary about me. Certainly you've heard of it. And he had me come out to Cincinnati for the very last bit of it. Actually paid for my time, paid for my hotels, my gas and stuff, to drive up to Cincinnati and film a thumbnail. The most expensive thumbnail in YouTube history, probably. But he did pay me for my time to do that. The only real compensation I got for the doc, I didn't really get paid for my appearance or any of that stuff. But he did pay me for the thumbnail. But I decided to start playing this game again. I thought it would be cool to catch some Pokemon from Cincinnati and, catch some Pokemon from St. Paul, Virginia, my hometown, which is where I ended up going after the Cincinnati trip. It's kind of out of the way to go to St. Paul, but I hadn't been in my homeland since 2019 with McJuggernuggets, and I thought, I just got to get it done. I just got to go back there. I need to go check on that old house. I thought it'd be cool to catch some Pokemon there as well. So we ended up doing all of that. Since I got home, I started playing this game regularly, and I mean every day. We get out into the vehicle, we go to a park, we walk a little bit, we drive around. I got one of those cool little auto catchers. They actually have an official one, the Pokemon Go Plus Plus, that allows you to catch Pokemon so you don't have to look at your screen. So it's safe for me to drive while I'm catching Pokemon. It'll auto spin the stuff. We go around, we do our daily raids, we do our daily instances, we catch Pokemon, and we have a great time. And at first, my girlfriend is a bit of a gamer, a bit of a Minecraft gamer. She likes that kind of thing. It was really cool to get her into this game. And at first, I didn't think she was really going to take to it. She's obsessed with it now, just as much as I am. And it's so great to have that player, too, that wants to do these things with you. Also, through Ubisoft Plus, we're playing through the new Avatar game that finally came out. It's a Ubisoft game. I don't know if I recommend it yet or not, but it's Avatar, and she loves Avatar, so it's cool to share that with her. But the point is, Pokemon Go is pretty good now. It's actually in a surprisingly good place compared to where it was in 2021 when I played it, 2018 that I played it. If you're looking for an excuse to get up and get moving and get out into the world and do stuff, this is probably a decent option for you, especially if you live in an area where there's going to be a lot of Pokestops, Pokegems in your downtown area. And one of my favorite things in the world to do is just drive. I like to drive around and look at places. I like to look at small towns. I like to see places I've never seen before. I love nature. I love Halloween decorations, and people decorate their houses for Halloween. Oh, it just makes me so happy. I love during these dark winter days to see these Christmas lights that everyone puts out. My entire neighborhood is filled with them right now. But a lot of these neighborhoods I would have never seen otherwise if I wasn't out just driving around, scooping up Pokemon with my auto catcher and enjoying these events with my girlfriend. And that's another thing about Pokemon Go that's really good right now. There's almost always an event happening. Every week, there's a certain group of Pokemon that are spawning. There's certain quests you can do. Some of it's pay to play. Most of it's free. And so, this week, the week that I'm recording this right now, until Saturday, there's the original Kanto starters, Bulbasaur, Charizard, Ivysaur, Squirtle, those guys, the guys. Dratini's in there too. I don't know. If you don't play Pokemon Go, this probably sounds like nonsense to you. If you never played Pokemon games, but my girlfriend had never played a Pokemon game in her life. She got into this one, and now she knows a lot of these characters by heart. We keep talking about bringing her in here to film a video where she tries to name Pokemon because she always gets the names wrong, and it's super cute. I think we might end up doing that, but I don't know. Pokemon Go is just in a really great place, in my opinion. I've started watching a lot of these Pokemon creators. Pokedaxi is probably the one I'm watching the most right now. Fleece King. Look these guys up if you're interested in finding out what they think about the game. A lot of them are kind of negative on the game right now, which is insane to me because if this game has been better in the past, I'm sorry I missed it because I think it's incredible right now. So anyway, that's how I've been spending a lot of my time, and it's been getting me some exercise, and I'm happy about it. Now, unfortunately, last week I blew out my right knee. My knees are starting to go, which is just a very common thing for a 400-pound man. Don't be 400 pounds, guys. If you can help it, lose weight, eat less, move more. I know what a hypocrite that makes me to say that, but I don't want anybody out there suffering the way I suffered. I feel like the amount of pain I was in last week when I had to travel down to Austin, Texas for Caleb Hammer, I had to use my walker again. I haven't used it in a long time. Thank God I didn't have to break out the wheelchair, But please take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Arthritis is really settling in on my knees, and that's why I was disabled. One of the reasons I was disabled back in 2007, became legally disabled. It's because of how bad my knees and my back and my asthma, my mental health, and my weight and all this other stuff is. I'm kind of a wreck. But anyway, just take better care of yourself. And maybe Pokemon Go could be part of that strategy for you, because it's been a part of that strategy for me. It's nice getting out, moving more, doing more. An hour a day, right? If you can walk for an hour a day, that's amazing. And Pokemon Go is a way to do it. Also wanted to talk about the Game Awards, which is something that's very personal and important and private to me. As we all know, I think most of you know this about me, but I won a Game Award back in 2016. I'm going to mention it every chance I get because I'm really proud of it. The award is here behind me. I was at the first Game Awards. I actually got to present, I think, the first, the modern one. Maybe not 2013. I think I was there in 2015, so a few years later, because I think they celebrated their 10th year anniversary. My brain is starting to go. My brain has turned to mush. I'm an old man. Don't forget that. But was it the 2015 presented award, I think, with iJustine. 2016, I won an award, and I went to the 2018, skipped 2017 because I was going through some stuff, but went to 2018, went to 2019, and then haven't been to one since. But I loved the Game Awards so, so much. And I was critical of them even when I won my award. I was critical of them when I presented at it, right? There's always room for improvement. We should always criticize the things we love to make them better, I think, right? It doesn't matter what it is, Star Wars, fandom, yourself, your family, your friends. Do it lovingly, do it kindly, but if there's room for improvement, make that improvement, right? Suggest that improvement. Now, I did that for Jeff Keighley and everyone else, and it's so fascinating because everyone else did with the Game Awards, right? Get rid of some of the commercial stuff like Schlickbot. One year they had a robot razor come out on the stage. How embarrassing. How stupidly embarrassing. Make it about the video games. Make it about the awards. That's what everybody wants, right? Well, I was traveling during the broadcast this year. I had to go down to film a collaboration in Austin. So I wasn't able to watch it live, but I got home and I watched all the trailers and I thought, wow, this is a great year for gaming. What an amazing year for gaming. And then I wanted to post my review of the show itself, so I had to sit down and watch the show, and it was so much worse than previous years. I don't know what's happening over there. First off, obviously, they're in it for the commercials. They're in it for the trailers. They're in it for the promotions. They're in it for the sales. That's the point of the Game Awards, and we all know it. We can pretend that's not the case, but it's about making money first and foremost. And if you think that's a bad thing, remember that's true of every awards show ever. The Streamies, the Webbies, the Emmys, the Oscars, the Tonys, all of it. Sure, it's also about celebrating the industry, but they're not going to do it at a huge loss. If they can do it and break even, they want to. And if they can do it and make money, they will. That's why they televise these things with commercials, right? So only a fool goes into the Game Awards expecting it not to be a giant 3-hour-long commercial. Obviously, I know that's what it is. But I feel like there's this still importance on the awards, right? Oscar award winning, Tony award winning, Game Award, Game of the Year. These things mean something. And having played video games my whole life, I think game designers are rock stars, man. I don't really care about actual rock stars, actual rappers. Those are just people to me. You're good at playing a guitar. Cool. You're cool at singing. Cool. Congratulations, Taylor Swift, Lil Peep. I don't know the names of people anymore. I'm old. Again, I'll say that a million times during this thing, so get used to it. But I want these rock stars who make games like Baldur's Gate 3, Super Mario Wonder, Legend of Zelda. These people are rock stars in my mind. I'm not going to worship someone who sings good, but someone that took me to a fantasy world for 100 hours and allowed me to forget this universe existed for a little while so I could exist in their universe. That's not just a talented person. That's a wizard. That's a magician. Oh my God, you can do that for people? You can make us forget that the world is a burning cesspool for 10 hours, 20 hours, 100 hours. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'll drop to your feet and worship you. And I had the pleasure of meeting some really great game designers. I met Kojima very briefly, but I met him. I met, the guy behind Fortnite, the Mustard. Laura Mustard, I think is her name, and then the husband. Oh my God. Well, they changed gaming forever, right? God, I could name drop for a while. But I got to meet some really amazing game designers, and I did. I dropped to my feet, and I worshiped. Oh my God, I fanned out like a fangirl. I've never gushed at a comedian. I've never gushed at anyone else, but I'll gush at a game designer. That's the respect I want to see at these Game Awards. First off, the major mistake that the Game Awards made this year was not nominating Hogwarts Legacy for anything. Is it a great game? No. Is it a game of the year? Not really. Okay. But it's really good. It's competent, certainly competent. And there certainly was a category they could have nominated it for. And if they had nominated someone for that category, or that game for that category, that means the designers could have been there, right? They would have got free tickets and showed up and all that stuff. Because they weren't nominated, I don't know if they got invited. I don't know if they were allowed in the room. And they should be. Politics aside, they should be. They made a very competent game that a lot of people loved. Whether you love that game or not, whether you agree with the politics of J.K. Rowling, whatever, they should have been in the room. They should have been in the room. That's just the reality. On top of that, they were ushering people off the stage with their acceptance speeches. And keep in mind, a lot of these acceptance speeches, they're not allowed to even talk. A lot of these awards are given off camera. A lot of them are given in like little 30-second segments. Those awards mean absolutely nothing. So they can run another Fortnite ad. They can run another trailer. They can run another Razer, Samsung ad, another Google ad, whatever they can run. They got to make time for that in their 3-hour runtime. 3-hour runtime. And they couldn't give more than 30 seconds for people who actually got to take the stage. If you were lucky enough to win an award that allows you to take the stage and speak, they started ushering you off after 30 seconds. There's video of the prompters that they said, wrap it up, wrap it up. They started playing the music if they didn't wrap it up quick enough. 30 seconds. And I made a video about this, and a lot of people said, well, Boogie, it's the most boring part of the show. To you and me, sure. I get that. And probably the people paying for these ad spots, for sure. But to the person accepting the award, it's everything. I know. I stood there. I accepted an award. And it meant the world to me. It changed my life, really. And they didn't usher me off. They didn't play the music that told me to get the hell off the stage. I got more time than the developers of Baldur's Gate 3. I got more time than the developers for Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. That's embarrassing, Jeff. Jeff Keighley, creator of the Game Awards. That's embarrassing, man. I want this show to be good, and nobody does it like this award. This award, this show feels important. It feels real, right? You have all these other game shows. Gamescom, you used to have E3, you have, I don't know, the one in Germany. You get all these different things. I want this show to be the one. But in order to do it, you have to respect the developers and give them their time. You can say what you want about the rest of the show. Sure, it's cringy. You got the VTuber appearances, the YouTuber appearances. You got the Muppets. You got all that stuff that a lot of people don't care to watch. I don't care to watch it. I am there for the developers, the games, the awards, the trailers. You know, but that's always going to have to be there. The musical numbers, the celebrity guests, celebrity presenters. It's always going to be part of every award show. I've turned mostly a blind eye to it. I still want you to make time for the games, the awards, and the people accepting them. The people who made the games. That's why we're there. That's why we're there. The people that make the games. That's why we're there. Give them all the time they want and need. They deserve it. So earlier in the week, I made a video about Hasbro, the toy manufacturer, which also makes games like Magic the Gathering, Battleship, Monopoly, all that starter game garbage. But Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons, because they own Wizards of the Coast, which is the company that makes that stuff, they also make all those trash toys no one's buying anymore. Star Wars toys. If you're buying them, I don't want to yuck your yum. But a lot of people are not. And I talked about it a little bit in the 8-minute sound bites, but I'm going to really get into it now. But I really want to lean into the fact that 10,000 game developers have been laid off this year. Isn't that insane? Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering, European games, but also video games. And as the tweet that I put up on the screen here says, or 10,000 game devs now laid off, many of which is 100% avoidable, with developers actively warning execs that if a course correction did not take place, that this was to happen. Yet they keep their bonuses and inflated salaries while we lose our means to pay basic living expenses. By the way, if you just saw that pop up or you heard that sound, that means somebody subscribed to my YouTube channel. Happens all the time. I love to hear it. I love to see it. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel while I'm recording or while I'm live streaming, your name will pop up there too. I'm leaving that in as an incentive. Go subscribe. Help the health of the channel. If you made it this far in and you're not subscribed, you must be enjoying the content. You probably should subscribe. I think you should. Okay. Now, why have 10,000 people get laid off? Games as a service really is what it comes down to. Saturation of AAA games and things along that lines as well. But I'll talk a little bit about the Hasbro part, but then I want to get into the video games parts. But when it comes to Hasbro, you got the movie tie-in toys. You got the Star Wars. Nobody cares about Star Wars anymore. Marvel is on a huge decline. Why are these movies? The entire movie industry is on a huge decline. Part of it's because people don't have the money to spend. We're in a really severe inflation crunch. People are not going to spend $20 to take their daughter to the movie or the girlfriend to the movie anymore. It's just not going to happen. $15 tickets. $15 tickets for my local theater. I don't know how much it is for you. $15 to go see a movie. Insanity. I'm not spending $30 for something I can stream in 3 months. Just not going to happen. But I also don't want to watch these things because the writing has been so bad. The Marvel movies, the Marvel TV shows, the Star Wars movies, everything Disney's doing. And I've never been like one of those anti-diversity people. I don't like black, female, lead, queer characters. I put them on screen. I don't care. Right? Last of Us, episode 3 TV show, so good. Atlanta, great show. Give me well-written, well-acted, well-produced, diverse characters. I'm there 100% of the time. Love it. When you write it badly, though, and this opinion has gotten me in trouble since I started YouTube 17 years ago, and I have not changed it, and I'm not going to change it now. When you write diverse characters badly, you are not helping that community that you're trying to help. You're damaging it. You're making it worse. If you're going to write diverse characters, you got to write good stuff. If you want to write a Marvel movie, you got to write good stuff. If you want to write Star Wars, Disney, you want to make a good movie, any type of movie now needs to be good. It needs to be the kind of thing. Do you guys remember blockbusters? Huge event movies, huge event shows. What was the last show we all watched together? Was it Game of Thrones? Breaking Bad? What was the last movie we all got super hyped for? We all stood in line to go see. Was it Endgame? Was it the reboot, final trilogy of Star Wars? What was that game or movie or show for you? What was it? They just don't exist anymore. They're killing the industry with bad writing, bad filming, bad editing, bad movies. Just watched a review for this new Wonka thing. I would rather shove juju bees in my eye holes than to watch this new Wonka thing. It looks so bad, and the reviews are coming in, and it is just as bad as it looks. Soulless, worthless garbage. How do you sell a Wonka toy when your writing is that bad? When your movie is that bad? How do you sell a Marvel toy when your writing is that bad? So the toy aspect of Hasbro is just wrecked. Also, younger kids don't care about toys as much. I only know a few, but they don't care as much about toys. The brand of the toy, I want a Spider-Man. Not really. They want a tablet. They want a game. They want a YouTuber's action figure. That's what they want. They don't need Spider-Man. They certainly don't need Ray Stantz or Captain Marvel. They don't know who they are. Why would they care? Adults don't want it because it's garbage. It's based off a garbage property. Anyway. The games, though, are still really good. Dungeons & Dragons is a great game. Terrible company running it. The PR... the open license thing. If you guys don't remember this, they wrote an open... Dungeons & Dragons was dying in the early 2000s, late 90s. So they gave this open license that allowed anyone to use their D20 system and write products for it, publish it, make money doing it to keep the game alive. And they said they would never retract it. They tried to retract it last year, and it was devastating to the PR of the company. A lot of people moved on to other role-playing games, whether it's Pathfinder or one of the superhero ones or alternative ones. There's companies that are developing brand new role-playing sets to get away from the Dungeons & Dragons brand. Of course, Dungeons & Dragons was the system used in Baldur's Gate 3, and even Game of the Year can't make people love that game again. How sucky is that? Here I am with all the D&D books going back to the 80s. Here I am with all these D&D miniatures. I just want to sit down with my friends and play. Nobody wants to do it because of all the bad taste in their mouth. Magic at the Gathering, another great game. Used to have its own identity. Used to have its own world building. Its own supervillains, its own heroes, its own planes of existence, its own art style. Now, there's Doctor Who cards, Fortnite cards, The Walking Dead cards, Transformers cards. They've killed the brand. I liked some of them. Warhammer was okay. The Doctor Who was okay. Magic adjacent is what I call those things. And I've heard other people call it that as well. These are things that could kind of exist flavorfully next to the Magic of the Gathering universe. So it's stepping over to Lord of the Rings, which was also one of the things they put in, feels okay. Most of Magic is based off of Lord of the Rings, if I'm being honest, as is Dungeons & Dragons, right? As is most modern fantasy. So it kind of felt right. Transformers does not feel right. That was Hasbro shoehorning one of their dying properties into my game, Magic the Gathering. Of course it failed. Of course it fails when you do these things. And on top of that, Magic used to have 4, maybe 5 sets a year. 4, maybe 5 big sets a year. With some minor ancillary things. We're up to like 10 sets a year now, folks. We're up to like 40 Commander decks a year. Even if I wasn't having some financial issues, I wouldn't be buying anymore. I couldn't keep up. Nobody can keep up. My friends, I have a group of friends play Magic the Gathering every Saturday night. They're as enfranchised as a player can be, having played this game for 25, 30 years sometimes. Have been buying booster packs of Magic cards since 1997, 1994, 93 when the game came out. They don't buy them anymore. A lot of them don't play. I hate it. I hate it. I hate what they're doing to these games and shows and movies that were so important to young Steve, and it's still important to old Steve. Because when I watch Star Wars, I get to escape back to when things are easier and simpler. When I play Magic the Gathering, I get to escape to when things are simpler and easier. I want that. I need that. I like that. Life is hard. Life is complicated. You know it is. Don't you miss the escapism? Don't you miss getting to swim in a beautiful sea of fantasy? I do. Oh, God, I miss it. Well, we're at a point now where these games are dying. And when it comes to the video game industry, games as a service, if you don't know what that is, it's where they make games that you continue to play forever. 10,000, 100,000 hours. World of Warcraft, Diablo, Final Fantasy 14. These huge, bloated games as a service that you're supposed to play till you die. Pokemon Go, I talked about one of them in here today, which is what I like. But since I'm playing Pokemon Go an hour a day, how the hell do I have time to play anything else? Right? Think about this logic, okay? If you have one game like World of Warcraft and it's the only game that you're supposed to play 40 hours a week, then everybody can do that, right? But when there's 10 World of Warcrafts, you don't have 400 hours a week, so you're going to have to pick and choose which game as a service you play. So that's what happens to these games as a service. It became oversaturated. There's only so many players. They can only spend so much time. And more importantly, they can only spend so much money. Look at the games that have stolen our hearts in the last few years. God of War, Legend of Zelda, Last of Us. These are single-player experiences, movie games, experience games. You play for 10, 15, 20 hours. You experience the story. Maybe if you're a completionist, you spend another 10 or 15 really deep diving that universe. Maybe you play that game again a second or third time. Spider-Man 2. I'm on a New Game Plus for that eventually, right? God of War's new DLC. I'm going to start that soon. But those are the games that people need to make. And these developers who have shifted from incredible single-player experiences to these garbage online games, Bethesda being one of the biggest culprits. Fallout 76, anybody? Elder Scrolls Online, anybody? Give me a single-player Fallout game. Give me a single-player Elder Scrolls game. Starfield would have been that. It would have been more interesting. The world was not that interesting, unfortunately. However, of course, game developers are going to get laid off. And, of course, we're in a financial crunch. If you got to pick a game or food, a game or internet, a game or electricity, and a lot of people are at that point, you're going to pick your bills. And if you're smart in this economy, when you have that extra $60, you save it because prices are just probably going up. Reinvest it. Right? I learned that at Caleb Hammer. Hi, Caleb. Anyway, point that I'm making is this was the writing on the wall years ago for Hasbro, for Blizzard, for Bethesda, for all these companies. And the game developers themselves, they knew the projects they wanted to build. They knew what they wanted to do. They knew, and they were telling the CEOs, they were telling the higher-ups, this is what we're doing wrong. This is what we need to do right. Let us do it. Let us make the games we want to make. Let's make good games. And the CEOs say, no, that's not where the money is. The money is at games as a service, is selling skins, and that's what you want to do, right? Meanwhile, God of War, Ragnarok, sells 1 billion copies, makes all the money in the world, gives away free DLC, showing it can be done. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, showing it can be done. Baldur's Gate 3, showing it can be done. The developers don't deserve to lose their jobs. I'll never say that. Even the worst developers out there who are forced to do a bad thing don't deserve to lose their jobs. The CEOs do. But you know what they get? Instead of a pink slip, they get a $9 million bonus like Chris Cox over at Hasbro. Led the company into ruin. Got paid $1.5 million to do it. Salary. Got a $9 million bonus. That's the world we live in. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking what's coming to my favorite properties. Heartbreaking what's coming to these games and shows and movies. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe I need to get up off my ass and stop watching childhood fantasy shit to escape. I don't know. Maybe. But maybe not. Maybe the world needs fantasy. Maybe the world needs games. Maybe the world needs entertainers and escapes. I think it does. And I hope these companies Course correct. I hope these developers find a place to work that will not work them to death and will not force them to make garbage. 10,000 lives. 10,000 families. All suffering just because they wanted to bring us entertainment. And CEOs decided to torture them while they did it. What a world. What a nasty world. One last comment here I wanted to get into just a tiny little bit. Don on Twitter, I asked Twitter, I said, hey, what would you like for me to talk about in the show? And I used some of your topic suggestions, but Don asked me to get political. And I want to tell you something here today. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. It's never going to happen again. Maybe I'll do it for the performative issues, over at the Lolcow podcast, but I'm at a point now where, even after I have this legal trouble sealed and taken care of, I will probably won't vote. I just won't. Not in this presidential election. I'm over it. I've done my due diligence. I've done my duty, my civic duty since I was 18, voted in every election, cared about what was going on in the world. I'm in retirement from politics. If it's still important to you, if you have to be involved in it because it affects your lives personally, I get it. I understand it. I respect it. Do the thing. March, dance, vote, petition. I do it. Trump, Biden, Clinton, Hillary, I don't care. It's for you. It's for you. It's no longer for me. And I'm done telling other people what I think and what I feel about this stuff. Nobody listens anyway. Not on the internet. I could tell you right now that, the most important thing in the world is to get the White House painted green. And I would spend 20 minutes on it right now. And those of you who don't agree with me wouldn't agree with me at the end of it. And those of you who agree wouldn't change your mind. Nobody's changing anybody's minds anymore. It's just not happening. People just listen to the people they already agree with. Well, I hope you agree with this. I hope you agree with the fact that it is scaremongering, scare tactic garbage. They want you scared. They want you scared. They want you to waste your time arguing online to deliver clicks and views to advertisers. Who you vote for, who you believe in, who you tweet about, ultimately isn't going to change the world. You know what does? You know what changes the world? Getting up off your ass and doing something. Maybe run for office if you can. But how about that local soup kitchen? How about your own friends and family? How about your own world? Improve your world. Improve your world. Personal world. Impact your friends. Impact your family. Impact the people you love. Impact your community. That makes a difference. Arguing on Twitter doesn't. Making a YouTube video about who I'm voting for, like Casey Neistat did back in 2016, ultimately doesn't make a big deal. Maybe a little bit in 2016. Absolutely not in 2023, 2024. Absolutely not. People are dug in, man. And I don't see anybody changing anytime soon. So I feel how I feel. You feel how you feel. And maybe we agree and maybe we don't. And that's okay. I'm an American. I don't know where you're from, but I'm an American. And in America, we have to coexist. Two-party system. It should have been a five-party system. Our forefathers would have spit on a two-party system, as they should. But we have a two-party system, so we have to coexist. We have to work together. We have to get things done. That's who I'll be. You disagree with me? That's okay. I disagree with you? That's okay. Maybe not the extremists. There's some extremist garbage out there who are there to do harm. There's jokers who just are in it for the chaos. But you normal human beings doing the normal human stuff, agree or disagree, I don't really care. Let's talk about something that's not that. Let's talk about entertainment. Let's talk about fun. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about not two geriatric old men pooping and peeing themselves running our country. Let's not do that. So there you go. 1 hour of rambling, I think. I don't know. I haven't checked the time. I haven't edited this thing, but maybe an hour of just unfiltered, unedited, raw boogie. Just doing boogie things, saying boogie stuff. Is it fun for you? I hope it is. If you made it all the way to this video, let me know. I'm going to give you a little keyword, and the keyword is my dog, Sammy, Sammy. If you type in Sammy in your comment, I'll know you made it to the end of this video and listened and watched the whole thing, and it'll mean the world to me that you did. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I will speak with you again soon. How soon? I don't know. Depends on how many people enjoy this video over the weekend. I hope a lot of you will. I sure enjoyed making it. I love you very much, and I will speak with you again soon.